I attended a local tournament with 17 players. I'm going to showcase the first place kid deck and also go through my own tournament experience and my matchups. Let's get into it. Here is the deck build for the first place kid deck. Starting off, you can see the starter deck lord that can restand cards to make them active again. Bumping across some players, I've heard that they don't really like this card. I spoke to another green player where they had one of these cards and 3 of the OP01 laws, and they just said they wanted to move the starter deck law for the OP01 one. So surprising to see that card there. 3 Rizos, self-explanatory in order to draw cards. Got 4 Beppos. I think that's just mainly used for 2k counter and potentially a card to play, but yeah, I don't really see playing this card. Then we have 4 Ezos. Yeah, really good card in order to just rest cards in general. Plus the 4 as well as 2k counter. I can see it somewhat used as the way that I use Brook, 2k counter, and on top of that you can also use the card offensively by playing them and attacking into weaker cards or into leader. 4 blockers, 3 Nekomamushis, similar effect to Ezo, but resting 3 cost and only 1k counter. But 2 killers. When I played this player, spoiler alert, I didn't actually come across this killer, although he did use Bonnie's effect draw into it. I think he just ended up using it as a counter. Or Okiku's. This card gives me nightmares. For me, this is the version of Robin, the way that people see Robin. As soon as they see this card, it's just a card that I just instantly want to get off the board. Because when attacking with 1 Don, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So you can rest blockers, you can rest other cards to attack into weaker ones. You've got 2 OP01 laws. Personally, I would run a bit more, but who am I to speak because this person came first. And got 4 Searcher Bonnies, self-explanatory. Surprisingly, no Momos. 4 Apus. I guess that's mainly for counters. 4 killers from OP01 blockers, and if you attach 1 Don on block, you can also have a chance to draw a card if you have 2 other cards, character cards on your board. 5 cost breaks on play, I believe, and KO a cost of 4 or less that with card that's rested, so similar to killer, but killing 4 costs instead of 3. Got 3 starter deck kids, the 7 drop one, where when you have 1 Don attached, then you can restand it again. 2 OP01 killers, 1 Punk Gibson, and 1 Paradise Waterfall to potentially restand characters. With Punk Gibson, you can also rest one of your opponent's characters. I haven't played too much kid myself. I'm actually going to be entering a tournament this Sunday where I'm going to give kid a try. I've only played Zoro at local tournaments, so it'll be good to switch it up a little bit, especially before Treasure Cup. I'm going to be entering quite a few more, so I want to get as many reps as I can in, especially with Zoro. But yeah, I want to switch it up, have a little bit of fun, try kid this Sunday. In this 17-player tournament, I ran a Zoro deck. I'll put up on the screen now what I previously ran at the tournament that I entered last. Here on the screen is what I am now currently running. So there have been 13 changes in total. The changes that I've made, so let's start with what I've removed first. I removed the 2 Nami starters, the ones where you can add rested Don. I removed the 2 Sanji from the starter deck, 2 OP01 Brooks, the 4 drop where you can -2 when attacking with a Don attached. I also removed 2 of the 4 drop laws from the promo where on play you can -2000 on a character. So those cards I am no longer running in this deck. I have reduced Uta to now 1, where I was previously running 2. I have removed Robin to now 3. This might be a bit controversial, but I feel like 3 is enough. Minimum 3, to be honest. She's still a threat. However, I feel like there can be better cards. The thing that I find with Robin is that when you draw into her early, then yeah, she's a beast. However, when it comes to the late game, I just find like, yeah, I don't really need you at this moment in time. And then going down to what else I have reduced, I have reduced the 2-cost vanilla 4K attackers from 4 to 2. I was running 4 size, now I just changed it to 2 VVs. Reduced Diable Jambe from 3 to 2, so remove the 1 from there. And the additions, I have added 3 Sunny-kun, the promo, added 2 Gordon promos, where it's a 1-cost, activate main, put it at the bottom of the deck, minus 3000. This is what I mainly against Kid. I have also added 4 OP01 Sanjis, the 2k counter, where you can activate main, draw 1 life and boost its attack, and add 2 Rested Dawn. Added 2 Sabodis to my previous one, so I'm now currently running 3 in total, and added 2 Red Hawks. Those are the changes that I have made. My first match was against a player named Yu Yang. He played with the Kid deck. He actually placed first, so the deck that I showed in the beginning of the video is his deck, and I'll give you another look here. At the beginning of the match, he did well to rest my characters which I intended to attack with later, so I put on 2-cost VV. I think I even put down a Sunny-kun or Nami. He rested both of them. I think his turn 1 he put down a Nekomamushi, attacked with Kid. Second one he did a the 2k counter, and then attacked with Kid again, and that really slowed down what I could essentially do in the beginning. Towards mid game, it was pretty even. I mean, I felt like he really filled up his character board. He had 2 Akikus. Prior to that, actually, he dropped an 8-cost Kid, where I used Gordon's effect to reduce it to 5000, then swung into the Kid with Rush Luffy. Just wanted to get that Kid off board. I even attached 2 Don to Luffy in order to boost attack, to run through the blockers which he had set up. Really not trying to see that card on the field for too long. I think, yeah, as soon as he put it on, that's when I took it off the board. But he had other cards that really helped him out. One defining moment was had Kiku attacked with it, put on the 5-drop Law from OP01, bounced it back to his hand, and then brought out a Kiku again, so it's restanded or restood, ready to attack and rest potential cards in the future. And then from there, started to build up his board again. Had I believe a 7-drop Kid. His board was really filled. No, sorry, he had a 5-drop the blocker Law from OP01, and a Kiku, and yeah, another powerful card. I think it was even an X Drake. So imagine 4 cards, and on top of that, 4 powerful cards at that, actually, and then the ability of it to just swing twice menacingly was a problem. I did manage to get Yu Yang down to 0 life. However, I felt like that was just a consolation. I don't feel like I put him in any real threat. That one, I felt like he won pretty comfortably because his board was just so filled up. Only if he had misplayed, didn't have enough cards in my hand to counter. So I ended up losing that match to the person who eventually went on to go and win the tournament. Second match was against a player named Reese. Had a Zoro mirror match. Yeah, with this one, I won pretty comfortably. Had Robin on my first turn. I went first, brought Robin out second turn. And then from there, just the effect of Robin of having to remove low cost cards. On his second turn, he even put out his own Robin, put down Otama, got rid of his Robin with mine, and he really just couldn't get rid of my pressure that I had on my character board. Constantly tried to swing into Robin with like 5k. Um, I think I protected her 3 times with 2k counters. Just kept going for her, but I just know that because he didn't have any characters on board, if he was to put something on, she'd just be a nuisance because I could get rid of any chopper blockers or low cost cars, Namis, etc., which I ended up doing. I think with her effect, I managed to get rid of 2 to 3 cards with her effect. And then it got to a point where I thought he was going to jet pistol it because he drew one with Nami, but he just left her and eventually got rid of her. But by that time, he had done more than enough. Usually, if he gets rid of one blocker or one card with her effect, for me, kind of job done. And that really set the tone for the game. On top of that, I had Sunny Kun, had Nami that I was just swinging 5k, obviously Robin on the field, 2k vanilla, putting out Zoro to just swing at life. Yeah, it was a tough match for Reese. He did ended up going all out in the last turn, where brought me down to 1 life. To be honest, I felt like I just wanted to see what cards I could draw. At no point when he did go all out attack did I feel like I was in any danger, because next turn I had got him down to 0. I could just swing 5k, and then big swing at the end, get rid of his counters, and that would have been game. After the game, we did a breakdown on what he could potentially change. I said he needs to get rid of his 4k vanilla cards and most 4 of the OP01 Robin. Just gave some advice on what he could do in order to make his deck better. He had quite a lot of cards in his hand towards the last swing, and they were all non-counter cards. So having 4 Rush Sanji in his hand, I said at the end, I mean, the fact that you couldn't do anything and these 2 cards were in your hand just goes to show that you may need to reduce it with your current deck build. He could have it, but then maybe definitely get rid of the 4 vanilla cards. Most only need 4. Yeah, just giving him some good advice for him to move forward. And that was the end of game 2, which I won. Next match, I played against a kid, so this is my redemption arc. The player's name is Draven. He borrowed the deck off another player named Sam, really cool guy as well. There was some misplays from both of us during this match. The similar theme of putting on Robin very early and then getting rid of his low power cards like Bonnie. I can't remember the other cards I got rid of, but I'm pretty sure I used her effect at least 2 or 3 times. Then similar thing where he just tried to get rid of her and I just countered with Sanji, Brooke, or Tama just to keep her on board, because if I allow him to get counters, so I could just get rid of Killer Blocker, the Searchers, even Itu that he used to rest my characters. Yeah, she was another nuisance in this game. He eventually did manage to get rid of her. The misplay for this is where he attacked into my Zoro 6k, whereas Sam actually said after the game that he should have just attacked maybe another lower cost card or at my leader, because he had another X Drake in his hand and he could have just played that in order to pop the Zoro off the field without even having to attack into him. So that was one of the misplays. So he ended up doing that the turn after. I got really lucky in this game. The last turn that I remember, his board was filled up, by the way. Similar thing to Kid that I faced it at the beginning of the tournament, where their board was just completely filled up. One of the misplays that I did was not getting rid of the first X Drake that he put on the field. Anyway, he had a lot of cards, character cards on the field. what he ended up doing is going for my characters and not going for my life. I think had he had gone for my life on the turn just before I finished him, probably would have managed to get game. But he went for my characters instead. Obviously, he didn't know what I had in my hand, so I could have potentially countered and then maybe finished him off next turn. But I had nothing, really. I had 3-4 cards in my hand, and it wasn't helpful at the time. And he had the 7-cost kid on board. So this was his only blocker. I have 10 Don. One of the cards that I had in my hand was a Diable Jambe. He had 1 life left, so I top decked Luffy. So clutch. And the last card that he had in his hand, he only had 1 card in his hand actually, when he had 1 life. So what I did, attached 2k to lead a Zoro. Attached 2 Don to lead a Zoro. Used my 3rd Don for Diable Jambe. He has only 1 card in hand. Didn't have any active Don. Most that he could have in his hand was a 2k counter. If that was the case, he's going to take the hit anyway. Then he took the hit for that. I have 7 remaining Don left. Played the Luffy that I just top decked. 5 cost. Added 2 Don to swing past the 7-cost kid. And then went for game. Looked at his hand, what he had after, and I mean, even if he had 2k counters in his hand, it wouldn't have mattered because Luffy has 9k. He put out kid early, the 8-cost kid, and had 2 Atamas in hand, played both Atamas to reduce him down to 4k, swung into him with 6. And yeah, that was potentially a mistake because then what Samuel and even Draven said is that, okay, you got rid of this kid. What about the other kids now? What if I bring out the 7-cost kid, which he did? And that for me was really a problem. I couldn't really get that kid off the board. I had to try and just swing past it. So maybe that was a potentially misplay and just overextending myself in order to get rid of that 8-cost kid. However, that's just too scary. I really, when I play against Kid, it is honestly scary. Hence why I'm looking to play with Kid this Sunday, just to test it out and see for myself. But most likely I'm going to be running Zoro at Treasure Cup. So I ended up winning my 3rd match, and at this point I am 2-1. 4th match, I am playing against one of my close OPTPG friends, Gurv, one of the first people that I met when getting into this game and attending locals, even trying to buy boxes on opening day at local game stores. Really, really cool guy. Big shout out to Gurv. This was a Zoro not mismatch. Well, it kind of was a mismatch, which I'll get into later on. But it was a Zoro mirror match. This is the reason why I run the Sunny-kun. Is if I draw him in my hand, especially early, then just play him, play Nami. Main cards that I'm really looking for in order to apply pressure are those 2 cards, and if I can play a blocker, I will. But what I will do is play Nami and potentially Sunny. Then I have 2 characters on board. I won't even attack swing into them. I'll see if I can just fill up my board even more. So if I can potentially put a 2-cost Vivi and another Nami or Sunny-kun, then by the next turn I've got 4 swingers that I can just go to remove some of their cards. Because the reason why I won't swing with them near the beginning is because I really want to apply that pressure. And most times when my opponent attacks me, I'm most likely going to take the hit because I want to add resources to my hand. So hence why I won't swing early with my character cards. Yeah, it was a lot of pressure from the characters that I had. Gurv actually filled out his own character board with 2 Sais, 1 Sunny-kun, and I believe a Nami. However, I managed to counter some of his hits. I think I had done enough damage early on in the game to just create a distance between ourselves in terms of how much pressure I could apply and how much pressure he could. He swung for my life. I was still standing, and on top of that, he had quite a lot of cards in his hand when it came to the last swing. Looked good for him. I think we even managed to finish that match before one of us reached 10 Don. So that was a very quick match. Big shout out to Gurv. Great sport. And that was my fourth and final match where I went 3-1 with this Zoro Deck build. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my Zoro Deck build. I mean, any deck build in general that you have either found success in or other ones that you found are really good. Honestly, hit me up. You can also hit me up on Instagram at blessedpacks. I'll be more than happy to look at everyone's deck builds and see what other people are running so I can potentially make changes for myself. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and the experience. Oh, one last thing. When entering the tournament, you get a participation booster pack. One person, they got a alt art boa, so big pull. My pull was a queen and a Kuma rare, so yeah, just gave it to some fellow OPT players at the tournament. And that wraps up my tournament experience for today. If you've enjoyed the video, gomu pistol that like button, subscribe if you want to be Nakama, and hit that Shandorian bell to be notified on future videos. My name is Mello. Thanks for watching. Peace, love, and stay blessed.